Hey guys, welcome to another week of the Cutmaster cast. I'm Chris.
I am Tony Pacheco.
And this week we are stoked to talk about our favorite wedding venues. We get into a little bit with AI and the grab bag, of course. Tony, what was your favorite part of today's episode?
You know, I really loved the requests portion of it. It is kind of towards the end of the episode, but we really do a good job at tackling how to handle requests and different kind of song request lists given to us throughout weddings.
I agree with you. Had a lot of fun looking at those questions with that. And we think you guys are really going to enjoy this one. So listen all the way to the end when we tackle the grab bag and get into some artificial intelligence. So let's get to it.
What do you like better, Christmas or wedding season?
Mr. Gray.
Yes. The answer would be wedding season.
Bingo.
Well, you've just inspired me to hire a DJ, so thank you.
Oh, well, good luck finding a DJ who can move and shake like this.
You're now listening to Cutmaster Cast.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back. Welcome to Cutmaster Cast. I am Chris.
What's up, y'all? My name is Tony Pacheco.
And we are DJs here in Albuquerque, New Mexico with Cutmaster Music. And we are here to discuss all things weddings, including our weekly events, the DJ and music scene, and wedding industry topics / hacks. And today we are going to tap into the wedding industry topics bucket and discuss some of the venues around town locally here in Albuquerque and our experiences with those. And then we're going to spend a fair amount of time actually discussing the hot new flavor topic of the month, I would say, which is AI and how we are seeing it being used in the wedding industry. Yep. So excited to discuss all of that today.
That's cool. I'm excited. You know, the AI stuff has been popping off for the last few months, and it's going crazy right now. So I'm excited to talk about that, and then also venues. Venues are always a good time.
Yeah, so let's dive into it and recap our weekly events. Yep. Like we said last week, I know we keep saying it's slow season, and then we have it like an event a week, right? Coming. So, but it is slow season. But I had a pretty fun event last week. It was super cool with Sandia Labs Credit Union. This is the second event that we've done for them, and I want to say in like the last 5 or 6 months, where they brought me in just as a stage DJ, and I got to tell you, I want more of these. I mean, these are fun events, and we've done a few of these in the past, but we seem to be getting more of these corporate type events where they're looking to change things up, do something a little bit different, and they want like this DJ presence on stage, right? Where you have someone that's, as people are walking in, you see a live, legit DJ playing music while people are coming in, getting their corporate event started. Yeah. I played some music, in between speakers. Nice. This one had an Academy Awards theme. Oh. It was like their awards banquet. Mm-hmm. And so I, of course, downloaded some Academy Award type music. Yeah. So when they were up there receiving their award, it was, had
playing the songs to get them to walk off.
So we joked around about that, right? If somebody was up there talking a little bit too long, start playing that.
Exactly. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't bust that out. But
that's awesome. I feel like it's such a cool way and so simple to stand out at your events, right? Corporate events, whatever. It can often come across as like boring or just another thing you got to do. But then when you walk in and there's lights, a DJ, you're like, oh, okay, we're here to have some fun. Even if it's just you spinning for that opening or whatever, I feel like it really helps elevate the whole. Like, it's not corporate, it's more just us having fun hanging out together.
And that's exactly what they want. So this one, this past weekend was on Saturday. The first one, though, that I did for them was on a Monday.
Oh.
And so who wants to go into work on Monday morning, right? And that was the whole idea. We need something to make this seem like we're here for some fun.
Yeah.
And
it was early, right?
It was early. You helped me out with that one.
Yeah.
And it just completely changes the vibe as opposed to kind of your typical stale corporate, just
awards, just kind of
presentations.
running. Yeah.
Right. You walk in, there's no music. It's kind of, it was fun. And for me, though, I use it as an opportunity to just try out some new versions of songs and music.
Yeah. No expectations. You don't have to worry about like getting people to dance. They just want to hear good tunes.
Yep. So no, it was fun.
That's fun.
So that was my event on Saturday, and it just feels good to be back in the saddle at this point of year when I'm not playing a lot of events. So yeah, lots of fun. Busted out the DJ booth where we threw up their graphics and designs and stuff like that. So it was cool. Nice. It was a lot of fun. Do you have anything?
I had Marble Brewery, Marble Downtown.
That's right.
Friday, and that was a good time. And then I went to Texas for a wedding, so that was fun.
Ah, so you were a guest at a wedding.
I was a guest at a wedding.
Wow.
It's only like the third time ever in my life. It's crazy. I've been to over hundreds of weddings, and I've literally been a guest.
I'm trying to think in the past, even just 5 years, how many times I've been a guest at a wedding, and I can only think of like maybe 2 or 3 as well.
I went to 2 last year, and it was nice. So you gain a cool perspective. This one was a lot more low key. It was in like a bar, and they had like local talent come and entertain and all that. So it was a lot more laid back, a lot more intimate, right? The guest count was maybe 60 people or whatever. But that's what was cool, was we all just kind of hang out, talk, and that it was perfect for them. And it just goes to show you there's a wedding style and for every single kind of couple. And it was fun, right? I really liked just seeing that aspect of it. But yeah, when I reflect back on other weddings that I've been to in the past, it's always nice to gain that perspective on what other DJs are doing, see what you're doing, and you're like, wow, I do okay at my job, to see the other DJs. And
it's good. It's good because I think with us at events, it's hard to disassociate yourself from the DJ.
Oh my God, it's incredibly hard.
Like, so when you can just go to an event, you're not having to worry about anything, like production wise. Mm-hmm. You can just go enjoy yourself, have some drinks. Yeah, you're there as a guest and enjoy, and then just see it from a guest perspective. Because
I still have a hard time. Yeah, I'll be sitting back and be like, oh my gosh, why isn't anybody thinking about these things, right? Or like whatever. And you have to relax.
Crazy and anxiety.
Yeah, right? You're like, it's not your wedding. They didn't hire you. So just sit back and enjoy. But even then, it's so hard to just sit back and be like, okay, why isn't anybody thinking about the champagne? We got toasts that are going to be happening. And nobody's passed it out. All right, I'm just going to sit here and watch what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, things like that. Cool. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are that was it for this week. Actually, I don't think we have anything.
I've got Super Bowl. I'm DJing the Super Bowl tailgate at Revel here in Albuquerque. So that's cool.
Oh, that's a good plug. Plug that.
We're going to be at Revel Sunday from 1:30 to 4:30 or until game time.
That's going to be crazy.
Doors are at 1. Yeah, it goes from 1:30 to 4:30. They got me in the big room, so that'll be interesting, right? But they've got the game up there. They're going to be doing all of that. That'll be Revel Sunday for the tailgate.
All right, you heard it here. So go join Zia, Tony out at Revel. That'll be a lot of fun.
It'll be a fun one. They said they're going to pack it. So
yeah, I can imagine. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's get into the first topic of the day, which is talking about venues, and we're kind of just going to spitball this. And I think what we're really just looking to do here, we're gonna focus on the venues that we've been playing at most recently. I would say within the last year or two. Yeah. Not necessarily any favorites. Some of these I think are going to be some favorites of ours, and just some aspects of these venues, things that we like that they do, and why we like performing there. So, do you want to get us started with that?
Sure. Yeah. I feel like it's not me, but at Cutmaster, a lot of the weddings that go to Santa Fe funnel through me or Victoria.
Yeah, but Tony's our Santa Fe.
I try to do a lot of the Santa Fe weddings, but one of my favorites, and there's a lot of good ones, but I was there probably 6 times last year, was La Fonda in downtown Santa Fe, right? And it's such a cool space if you're looking for like a unique traditional Santa Fe wedding. A lot of couples that we deal with, or not all of them, but a good share of them, were from here, and then they moved out of town, and then they want to like showcase where they're from. Right.
And makes sense.
Yeah, and Santa Fe has a really good feel, traditional old school look to it, and so La Fonda has a cool. It's right in the heart of downtown Santa Fe. A lot of couples will get married right by the church, and then they'll walk around there. But a cool thing is if they hire like a mariachi, the mariachi will take them around the Santa Fe Plaza and all of that, and it's
always fun.
Yeah, it's a really cool space. And
how many people typically fit in that.
I would
event
say
space.
max 120. You could probably get away with 150, but then you're going to have tables bleeding outside and all of that, which is fine. But it's a smaller venue.
Yeah, smaller, more intimate space.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
But you could easily get 100, 110, 115, which is your average, I feel like, for weddings.
All right.
But
coordinator out there, David Stone.
David Stone is a rock star. Him and his team there, they do a really, really good job at just making sure everything's in line. He's one of the only catering or like venue staff that gives me a timeline. Oftentimes, we'll work out with the couples and talk about what's important to them, and then we'll send out just a timeline to the coordinator so they know where I'm coming from before there, and then we can coordinate different timelines and all that. But David, he's so on point with things, but he's also able to like work on the fly if something happens, right? Or what random thing.
I've always felt like he's very organized as well.
Yeah.
I've always had great experiences working with David. So anybody out there looking for a small, intimate Santa Fe wedding, La Fonda is a great place.
Yeah, and you can get away with 120 comfortably. 150 is where you start pushing the
limits
outside. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna stick with Santa Fe. So. I don't know if many people know this or not, but I'll throw this out there on the podcast. I don't mind Santa Fe. I don't want to say that I dislike it. Santa Fe is very challenging for me. More so with load-in.
It's like a logistical thing.
It's a logistical thing with load-in. So I drive a trailer, and anybody that's been in and around Santa Fe, especially the plaza area, know that it's tight space. Even La Fonda, typically you're parking in the garage. I can't go park in the garage. So I don't do, personally, events at La Fonda only for that reason, because I can't park. I can't get in and out, right? Yeah. Of that space. So that's why Tony's our guy, because he's got the setup and the vehicle that can handle that space for us. But one that I do enjoy and can handle a trailer, and it is a very easy load in, load out for us, is Bishop's Lodge, which I actually hadn't played there a lot until this past maybe year and a half.
Same.
And I think we've had, I don't know, a handful of events, 5 or 6 of them. And I've really enjoyed the space and the staff there as well. The main ballroom, I think, is it's a great space. It probably fits, I don't know, what would you say, maybe about 200? Yeah.
Easy. I could say 200.
200 or so. I've got a wedding there actually this summer.
Nice.
That is going to be out on the lawn area right in front of the ballroom.
Okay, yeah.
And it's the lawn area is, I believe it's a turf that's out there, but it's another beautiful space. The ceremony space did pose challenges for us initially, but they've gotten that squared away, and they actually have power up there now, which is nice. They've got this historic chapel that goes up the hill, and where I almost lost my butt with gear trying to haul stuff up there the very first time I went there. It's
tough. It's a tricky spot. It's a lot of incline for that ceremony space.
It's tucked up in the mountains.
Yeah, it is.
So anybody that's looking to be in Santa Fe but not in the heart of the plaza wants the mountain space type feel.
It's got an escape kind of
it totally
feel. Yeah.
It feels like a total escape but you're in Santa Fe, right? Beautiful space. I know we did cocktail hour. They've got this area out there that kind of has like these like a tent, like teepee tarped like area. Was really neat. So I would throw Bishop's Lodge out there.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good space for Santa Fe as well.
My first wedding is in March, and it's at Bishop's.
There we go. We're looking forward to it.
It's a cool spot.
So kudos to Bishop's. All right. What other venues you got?
Let's go one more with Santa Fe, because I'm there quite a bit, and we got a couple coming up here. It's Four Seasons up in Tesuque.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of Santa Fe, kind of Tesuque, right? 10 minutes north of Santa Fe.
Yeah, Four Seasons Encantado.
Yes, and what I like about that is it's got that similar vibe of an escape. You're driving out in the middle of nowhere, and then you're like, oh, here it is, right? But that's what's cool about it. You got amazing sunsets for ceremony. The ceremony space is beautiful. Really, really good sunsets. They have different sections for cocktail, for dinner. And I like when they separate spaces like that, because it really makes the event flow. Whereas like if you have your cocktail and your dinner in the same area, you're going to have guests sitting for 2 hours almost if they just commit to sitting down right away. And that can feel stagnant, you know? So that's why it's nice to have sections. I
right.
guess.
You know what I liked about the cocktail hour or the cocktail section, which is kind of right across the way from the ballroom. They actually have their own sound system out there that we've been able to plug into.
Yeah.
You know, if you're throwing on a playlist from your, bride and groom, which we do frequently, really easy to do. And they've got their own system out there that's kind of separate and built into the space. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Okay.
So yeah, that's a good one. Great team over there. The load-in's really nice. Not too bad, right?
I've been there many times as well.
I like
I
Four
agree.
Seasons. Shout out that one.
Okay. Let's go local. Okay. I'm going to bring Hotel Albuquerque into the mix. We're there all the time.
Classic.
I like the space. Once again, they've got different spaces there.
A lot of options.
A lot of options. So your smaller weddings, if you want to go with the ballroom, I love the Franciscan Ballroom, which is right in the front of right off the hotel lobby. I would say you could fit probably around 150 to 200 people in that space as well. Great for smaller to mid-sized weddings. And then you've got the bigger ballrooms, your typical ballrooms for
500
the hotels. We've done some really large weddings in there when you open up the entire ballroom space. They've got the built-in lighting into the ceiling.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Which is pretty cool, in addition to our lighting. And then you've got the outdoor, I don't know, what would you call that? Like I'm sure they have a name for it. Like
foyer?
Like a veranda or something like
Yeah.
that. But basically, you've got, it functions as a ceremony space outdoor where you've got beautiful greenery and vines hanging over the top of you, and then a lot of couples will bring in a tent if they want into the grass lawn area, and then we turn that space underneath the vines into the dance space. So maybe for the YouTube viewers out there, we can throw a picture of that up on the screen up here for you guys, so you'll see that and can kind of see what that looks like. But yeah, the hotel staff has always been great over there as well, and nothing but good things to say about them. I love the load in, load out.
One of the best in the city. Easy. Yeah. That one's one of the easiest ones. I love that.
So, so what I also like,
pavilions and gardens.
The pavilion, yes,
that's what it's called.
I can never remember, but it's the pavilions.
I had to look it up. I was curious.
So the other thing, though, that I like, and we talked about this last week, that I think is a trend we're going to see, is the ability to have an after party.
Yeah.
And so they have the fireplace room, which is this small, intimate little room. It's got a fireplace in it right off of the pavilion there. Yep. And it probably max fits, I don't know. You could squeeze 50 to 100 people in there.
100 people?
But I mean, think of 100 people for your after party.
Yeah.
It would be like a poppin' little club.
Yeah, exactly. You could turn that little spot into a club easy. And that's what's cool about it, is it's small, so you uplight it, do whatever. It doesn't need a lot.
No. So we were looking forward to after parties in the fireplace room for you all out there.
Definitely.
Okay, so what else you got?
Let's see. This one it's local. I consider this one local, but it's in Bernalillo. But Hyatt Tamaya.
Yep.
I love that one. That one is so cool. I find ourselves in the Cottonwood pavilions a little bit more often than like their ballrooms.
Right.
They do have a couple ballrooms, and we've been in there, and they're great. Standard ballrooms can seat about 150, 200 people. But what I like about the Cottonwood pavilion is, again, the escape, but you're also very close to your hotel room. So you kind of take a shuttle down to the pavilion, but it's all there. The ceremony space is there. They trickle into the cocktail hour that's outside of the ballroom, and then they come inside for all of the reception or whatever. But I always am a big fan of that. Again, load in, load out. Fantastic. So easy. The team there is really, really good. And that's kind of what we look for, right? I mean, not always is. We're going to find couples that are better with what venues we want to go to, but it's nice to know where you have, like, how am I trying to say it? Like, you can feel confident that the staff knows what they're doing. You're not having to micromanage, not do your job, right? I'm over here DJing and I'm thinking about like the whether the food's going to be passed out in a good timing or whatever, right? Like little things like that. It's nice to know when I'm at La Fonda, Hyatt Tamaya, Hotel Albuquerque, they've got that squared away. I can focus on my job.
Right.
So.
Absolutely. No, nothing but great things to say about Tamaya for me as well.
Yeah.
So
I love uplighting that room because it's just got blank walls.
Right.
Really, really good opportunity to uplight the whole space. And
I feel like the Tamaya, especially when we're in the Cottonwoods, because the Cottonwoods Pavilion tends to feel a little bit more warehousey, and I feel like that's one of the spots where we tend to work and partner with other vendors, kind of like with Joanne at Black Swan. Yep. They'll bring in a decor company to, just soften up the space, right, with drapery and stuff like that. So I think that's if you're not looking for the urban warehouse look and feel that it is kind of by itself, bringing in a decor company like Joanne, Black Swan, or Akshay and Payal.
They do a good job too.
They do a great job as well. I always look forward to events there.
Another cool thing that I don't see in a lot of spaces that's at that place is a ceiling rack that you can do a lot of different things with, right? You can hang things from there. They've got a lot of sound system. A lot of them, or Hyatt Tamaya has a lot of different sound that they can provide as well. Right. That we'll collaborate with and do different things. So that's a cool thing.
Yeah. And we didn't even talk about the ceremony space outside the
the gazebo. I talked for a second, but it's nice because it's a beautiful gazebo. It's got the mountains in the back. The backdrop is really, really nice. Right. Yeah. I love it because it's got that all in one. I'm a big fan of it.
So we did an event there, I think it was last year, and actually the reception was outdoor. We were set up with the DJ set up underneath the gazebo. Yep. Really cool, except for the 100-mile-an-hour winds and hurricane that came through that day. Geez. Oh my gosh, it was a nightmare. Yeah. They had all the tables outside for dinner. Yeah. And it was, oh my gosh, that was.
I can imagine your centerpiece is just falling over.
There was stuff blowing. It ended very early that night. It was.
I can imagine.
It was. I don't even think it lasted until 9. The wind was so crazy outside. So unfortunately, that's New Mexico, right? You never know what you're going to get with outdoor events, and that's kind of a chance you take. And they just were not ready to. They were that. Particular couple was adamant on being outside. They didn't want to go inside, even though they probably should have, and everything ended early on that one. Yep. So it was unfortunate, but love the space.
Yeah. So, and those are, I think, important things to be mindful of that you don't really think about is weather. How is that going to affect you? Do you have an alternative? Do you have a backup plan if everything? Well,
and I guess they kind of did, right? That the Cottonwood Pavilion is right there, but it was a killer. Sound, right? That's exactly what it was. It was a killer. It was just the event was done.
Exactly.
And they were all freezing and just anyways.
It's funny.
Okay, so one I here locally, and if I have a favorite, I know we said we were going to play favorites, but I'm gonna play favorites a little bit here. This is one when they said when COVID hit that they were doing away with weddings. It took a piece of my heart and my soul with me, but then they came back and they totally redeemed themselves. Yep. And now we've got events there this year, and I'm stoked because I love this spot, Los Poblanos.
Yep.
That place has a special place in my event heart. And it was great when we came back. We had an open house with them to start the year, and I just walking up the path there and seeing some of the staff that are still there and around. The love that they showed, Chris, we're so good. I mean, it was awesome. It felt so good. It was great to see them. Yeah. It felt like I was back home.
Coming home,
And I actually had my first event of the year there a few weeks ago.
Nice.
We talked about it on the first podcast on episode number 1, and it was great, and I love it. I still love it. It's one of my favorite spots. I love what they've done to the library where they've added the bar in there. And it's once again one of those places. I know it's pricey, and it takes a special certain kind of couple to be able to get into that spot. But I'm glad that they still refer us out and trust us to go and do their couples right in that space. And I love it. Everything is great there from top to bottom. I love the staff. I love the food. Love the space.
The food. Oh man.
Right.
Those are those like rolls.
Crack rolls. We call them crack rolls at Cutmaster Music.
I mean, heck, they're that addictive. They're good.
Yeah. They are. No, everything is great there. So we're glad to be back there. Thank you, Los Poblanos, for referring us to your clients when it's the right fit, and we're happy to be back there in that space. I'm glad that they're doing weddings. It looks different than it did pre-COVID.
Yeah.
They've changed the model. Right now, they're currently only doing 60 people or less.
Like
max 60, and they're just trying to do these more intimate, smaller weddings.
It's smart. So I think that they can maintain it, they can control it. It's an old building. They want to make sure they stay true to like the traditional of it and like don't damage it, right? And so I think when you can cut those numbers in half, right, like 60 instead of 120, it gives you a little bit more control. I bet you they're able to manage the food better, quality control, and all those different things.
Yeah, and it's a little less, they don't have to use as much chlorine in the pool when people are jumping in after the event.
I've had that happen. There's a pool right there.
Yeah, we've done it. Oh, it's happened a lot. Yeah, many times.
Yeah.
Right. We've had it happen when I can't remember if it was either end of the season or beginning, but it was freezing. That's all I know. It was so cold.
January.
And this whole wedding party, people started jumping in the pool, and they don't provide towels. Like they're not.
Yeah.
There's no lifeguards or anything. If they don't know, how to swim, you're on your own.
Yeah.
It was, they were crazy, but
cool spot.
Yeah. Love Los Poblanos. All right. Any others you want to add to the mix here?
I had one more that actually I really love. It's a hidden gem right in kind of like it's by Hotel Albuquerque, Rio Grande area, that kind of old town area, but it's called Old Town Farm.
Yeah.
And I love that space because it's hidden. You would never think of where it's at. But when you go there, you come up and there's this really big grassy area where they'll have ceremonies. They also have this other really cool area outdoors that's really nice for ceremonies. And then it's an actual barn.
It's a barn. It's one of the few places that you can actually really do a legit barn.
Yeah.
Wedding.
And it's what I love about it is like the barn look and feel of it, right? We've done a couple different things with uplighting and our tubes to really help enhance the look of the space. But when you walk into it, it still gives that barn feel. And I like the Old Town Farm just whole look, because if that's the kind of vibe you're going for, then I like it because it's right in the center of Albuquerque. You're probably not spending as much as you would at, say, Hyatt Tamaya, Los Poblanos or whatever. I'm not sure what their prices are, but I know that they do a fantastic job of just keeping it simple. They do have a sound ordinance. I'm pretty sure you're done at 10 no matter what, because there's neighbors and different things
Most
like that.
of that corridor down in the valley is going to have a 10 o'clock, 10:30 noise ordinance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I love that space. Old Town Farm, really, really good team. I hadn't been there in like 2 years, and they were like, "Hey, we know you. What's up, Tony?" Right? And I was like, "Yeah, how are you?" So it's really cool when they have that personal connection, and like you were saying, those people are still there and all that. So I like Old Town Farm.
Yeah,
too.
You know what I liked about Old Town Farm as well? Like they've got this, I don't know what you would call it, like a little cutout area where it was perfect for a photo booth setup. Like, we set up
in
the
barn.
Yeah, in the barn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you keep everything nice and tight right there.
Yeah.
We had our
like a little nook.
mirror. It's like a little nook. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it was built for it. So, and then
100 people, it could probably
about 100 people.
Yeah. 120.
Yeah, and once again, there's not many spaces that you can do an actual barn.
Yeah. We did one at it was up north. I can't even remember where, because it was just like a family friend's house who he's trying to turn it into a wedding space, right? But I don't know, it was different. It wasn't like, it was just like he owned the land, right? And he was trying to, but Old Town Farm, they're doing it. Right. And again, that's probably the only barn in Albuquerque.
Right.
I can't think of another one.
Okay, I'm going to throw another space. And actually, this is two venues kind of on the same property, so to speak. But I gotta give some love and a shout out to Sandia.
Oh, yeah.
Both the resort side, all right, which is in the casino. And they've got the ballroom space. That's where I was this past weekend. Mm-hmm. Stephanie, who is I believe, in charge of...
the lead coordinator,
Yeah, the lead coordinator of the weddings out there. She's awesome, amazing. Love Stephanie. She's always been great to work with. It's on point, super organized. Just communication is always great with them, and the entire staff there. I know I've worked with Carmen out there. Yep. All of them. Lisa, I think it's Lisa Romero out there. They're great. So anytime I get an event at Sandia on the resort side, I'm always excited. I know Loden. Load in there is typically it depends on the day.
It's not my favorite.
It depends on it depends on the day and it depends on the security, right?
Yes, it does.
And that's really who's on security that day. This past weekend, it was great. I rolled up. The door was just open.
Heck yeah.
And so it was beautiful, right?
That's always good.
Yeah, setup took me like 15 minutes. And other days you could be waiting outside for a half hour for security to open the stinking roll-up door. But if I had any complaint, that's it. And it's not really
It's just a bigger challenge as opposed to like hotel.
Right. No, so, but then there's the golf side.
The event center.
The event center, all right, and I love the golf course there too. But the event center at the golf course, working with Ashley out there, she's amazing and great as well. We do a lot of events there. I love that it provides an indoor-outdoor option with a great view of the mountains. The ceremony, ceremonies are always nice, and it's actually really easy for us running ceremonies. Where what I like about it is that we're not like an obtrusive element to the ceremony where we're able to just keep our setup indoor, but then they've got hookups for us within their system there where we can just run an auxiliary into their system and all the sound runs straight outside for the ceremonies and you don't see us as the DJs at all.
It's even in you can have them put it in the settings where it's like during cocktail hour, have the sound run through the ceiling.
Yep.
It's so nice because you don't have to set up sound systems, all these different areas. You just plug in and you're good to go.
Right.
And there's such a good team there. Like you had mentioned, the mountains, the photos that you can get there are just immaculate. I'll be there in April.
Nice. All right. Shout out to Sandia, both the resort side and the event side. Love you all. Okay. Any other ones you want to talk about? I think that's probably it for me.
Good. Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. So we're going to wrap up. That's it for our venues this time around. But as we start playing in some other ones, we can do, some more.
You know who's back? It's called Olympus Events.
Oh, right.
Instead of Noah's. Remember Noah, the crazy drama? I felt so bad for those couples, man. That was tough.
Yeah.
But somebody bought it out locally, a family, and they're doing it. And I'm glad because it's such a good space. It's on the west side of Albuquerque.
It was a beautiful space.
I just clicked in.
I haven't been out there since.
I attended a wedding in December
there. Okay. So we're looking forward to hopefully getting back out to that space because it is a nice space. Mm-hmm. Okay, so wrapping up venues, let's get into the. I think this is the hot topic right now. Just I'm seeing this all over blogs. I'm seeing it all over social media and in all different spheres, right?
Everywhere, honestly,
It's everywhere, and that's AI. Using AI, Chat GPT.
Yep. OpenAI, DALL-E 2. I like that one.
So why don't you explain, give a quick little overview of
I guess
of what it is.
Of what just the AI is. I guess there's a lot of different programs nowadays. I'm seeing more and more pop up. But ideally it's to kind of streamline any kind of task, really, right? There's a lot of different things. Ones that we're using that we're finding is DALL-E 2 and ChatGPT. Those are, I'm sure everyone's hearing ChatGPT now. But what we've used it in the past was to write blogs. We did just recently help me write a blog about new wedding topics or like wedding trends we want to see, right? Or how to like stay relevant or like things to, apply. But it makes it so easy because it literally you type in the prompt and it spits it out in 30 seconds, which is crazy. But what's one thing that's interesting is like it still looks and feels synthetic.
Right.
Or just, I don't know, like when I did it, I was like, okay, cool. But like, this doesn't flow right. Like I've written a fair amount of papers in my life and you need the ideas aren't going and it doesn't come together. And so, yeah, it does a good job at like writing down a bunch of good things for you, but you need a human touch. For sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically it's artificial intelligence and machine learning programming here, right? Where you've got this machine that's scouring the internet and has the capability of really putting like different ideas and thoughts together. It's taking all this information, all these data points, and then it's spitting out an output, right?
Yeah. What I've heard is that it basically analyzes all, like say I want a blog about wedding DJing, right? It'll look at all the wedding DJ blogs. And what it does is it writes it out with like an understanding of what the next word should be.
Right.
So it anticipates the word and then it writes it out for you.
And then you can even go as far as like saying, do it in the form of a comedian.
Yeah.
Or make it very serious.
Using keywords, right? In the style of a Shakespearean actor. Right, whatever. But it'll do that. And it does a really, really good job.
Yeah.
And then DALL-E 2, that one's a more of like an image creator where you can type in, create an image of a fish in a fishbowl flying in space or whatever. And then it'll spit a couple images out. And I've used that a couple times just for random things, but like, these AI tools are getting really, really cool and kind of scary at the same time. But, I think it's understanding because there's a lot of takes. There's a lot of takes on whether we should be using it or not and how certain, like it's just going to be a machine feeding a machine. So we're not getting real authentic content and all of that. And I think, yes, there's some place to that, but it's important to, like I said, you need a human touch. So you can use it for certain things, but you still have to go in and
so check this out. I just saw, I think I just saw it today, and this is for wedding photography. All right, this is where things are getting interesting with AI, and it's like, okay, how is this going to affect our industry as a whole, and not just on DJing, but photography, videography. So I saw this. Photographers, there's an engine, right, that takes images, and you have to upload, or if you upload like 3,000 of your wedding images, and this AI engine can read how you edit, like how you edit your images. Now, wedding photographers, they all have their own style, right? Mm-hmm. So they use whatever it is, different filters, things like that, different settings, brightness, exposure, all of that stuff, and they have their style. Yeah. So some are like light and bright, others are high contrast. Mm-hmm. So you upload 3,000 of your images, and this machine can now read your style, and from that point on you can batch upload your photos, and they will all be in that style. Or you can pick somebody else's style.
That's crazy.
Right? Yeah. So this machine has learned all of these different styles, and you can actually go and take, some famous photographer, Ansel Adams, who I don't know very many,
Me either.
And you can take that style, and the machine will apply it to your photos. Like that to me is just like, that's mind-blowing stuff, right? Like, wow. So like, let's think of it in DJ terms. Like, okay,
I think playlist curation.
Right now. I'm gonna see if I can pull this up. Go ahead. Let's talk about how that might.
Okay, so like playlist curation could be really helpful. Like one thing I was saying is that AI is great, and I think it could do a lot of different things. But one thing that I feel like it truly can't do is read a room for DJing. Is understanding when you play a song and when it is a dud or when it just doesn't do as well as you'd hope. AI, a robot's just going to let that thing roll out for 2 more minutes, and they're going to let it play. And we were just talking about it in the previous episode on how nobody wants to hear, hey, must be the money, for 4 times in a row, right? And a AI robot isn't going to recognize that, but a DJ will, right? So I think that is something where, I don't know, I'm not totally fearful for my job, right? Like it's going to take over.
Right. That's the big thing. Like, and there's going to be some elements, right, where the AI is going to get really good. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think mixing, I could see some bars that during downtime when you don't want or have the need for a live DJ, and this is already kind of happening, right? Yeah. I mean, you could do it on Spotify where it blends, but
it does a pretty good job.
But I think you're going to see different DJ styles where AI has learned, like how, I don't know, maybe how DJ AM used to mix more open format stuff, where you would take like a rock song and blend it and mix it in halfway through with a ballad or something like that, right?
I mean, shoot, it could take remixed songs off YouTube, right? It just takes his live sets and chops it up. I don't know but you could see
AI is going to be able to do that.
That's what I'm
right?
saying,
It's going to be able to take so maybe it takes in, you've got this app, I can imagine, right, where I like Guns N' Roses, you like Dr. Dre, and now the AI is going to be able to actually mix and blend and create a mashup of a Guns N' Roses with Dr. Dre.
It'll find out the BPM, the key, and just mix it all in perfect
sync. But as long as we still have events where you need to bring in gear and speakers and lighting.
Yep. And AI can't set up speakers.
There's no AI that can set up speakers. That's true. We still have a job for at least this year. Right.
For at least this year.
Right.
Well, emceeing too. I think there's a lot of like random social cues that we pay attention to. We often refer to it as a limbo, where guests are finished dinner, toasts are about to happen, and there's that weird window in time where everybody's just looking around, looking at the watches. They're like, okay, what are we doing now? Right? Like we pay attention to those moments and keep the momentum going of the night. And that's always a big compliment we'll get on how you just kept the flow of the night going. We really appreciated that. Because a lot of times in weddings, you're just waiting for the next thing to happen. You're like, okay, we're about to eat. What's going on? I want to go get a drink, but the dances are about to happen. So it's nice when we are in the moment in there. We're there the whole time. So we're paying attention to all those little things and yeah, can't pay attention to those.
All right. So I've got Chat GPT open, and we were talking about playlist curation. All right. Let's see how good this is.
Okay.
All right. What do we want to put in?
Give me the top 10 tracks from the 90s.
Okay. I'm putting in, give me the top 10
songs,
tracks. Let's just put in tracks, see what it comes up
Okay.
with. Tracks from the 90s. All right. So I need to make a 90s list. Let's see how long this takes. Usually it's pretty quick. It's doing some thinking right now. And let's see what the top 10 tracks of the 90s are. It says, here is a list of the top 10 tracks from the 90s in no particular order.
That was less than 30 seconds.
Okay. Number 1, Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Okay.
By Nirvana.
Yep.
Number 2, Wonderwall.
Yep.
By Oasis. Number 3, Britney, Baby One More Time.
Oh, wow.
Number 4, Living on a Prayer, Bon Jovi.
Yep.
Number 5, this one's made its comeback for sure. I Want It That Way, the Backstreet Boys.
As well.
Number 6, My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. Okay, so like look at right there. That's a track. I can't remember the last time I played that.
Yeah, seeing that I was like, all right, yeah. It's
so,
a track from the 90s.
But it's from the 90s. But that's it's a popular track, right? Like AI has gone out into the world there and read. So maybe that's a song I need to like throw into my dinner mix like next time, right?
Yeah.
Everybody by the Backstreet Boys. Yep. Number 7, number 8, End of the Road, Boys to Men. Another one.
Yeah.
Like
I don't really play that one.
Although that's I don't know if that's a really good wedding.
It's kind of
song.
sad. Yeah.
End of the road. We come to the end of the road. We're breaking up. Okay. Number 9, Spice Girls, Wannabe. And number 10, Ace of Base, The Sign.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it opened up my eyes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I mean, right there, spits out top 10. So here's a few ways that we have been using AI because we've been using it. Actually, this entire episode has been generated by AI.
Crazy.
Yeah. Everything we're saying right now in real time has been. Just kidding. No, but it's that good though. Where
this
you
isn't
could.
Even a real voice.
This is not me.
That'd be kind of great. There are bots that'll do that. I've seen it.
Yeah. It's gonna get to that point, right? Yeah. Where you can literally type out a script and do it in the voice of DJ Zia.
They're doing it now for video creation. So it's literally you can create a human being, a digital human being, write a script, and they will talk to the camera, and you can start your business, right? And that's your face of the company, some random.
I meant to tell you, this really isn't my face.
This is an AI generated image.
My face isn't this beautiful. Okay. This is Photoshopped AI.
Yep.
With a filter. Lots of them. But no, really. I mean, so yeah, I mean, we've been using AI for content creation. Yep. So some ways that we've been using it, we've generated some blog posts, which we are finding out you got to be careful with because Google is Google, people.
They're smart.
And Google is pretty smart.
Yeah.
All right. It's pretty smart. And I've always been of the philosophy of do what Google says to do, right? Because Google rules search, period. They rule search. It's with, they own YouTube, and just whatever they say to do it. And Google has recently basically come out and said, look, they've got ways of knowing whether you have actually created this content or if you're using Chat GPT, and they're going to ding you for using AI generated content when it comes to search. So you're gonna have to be careful with this. I know we've toyed around with making blog posts using Chat GPT, and this is what I would say. You need to put your own touch to it. So I like it for generating ideas, right? Like if I go on here, Chat GPT, and type in, give me a top 10 list of, I don't know, top 10 list for a wedding.
Yeah, songs. Like songs to be played during an open dance.
Right.
Whatever, yeah.
Don't go and copy and paste this generated post. Go in and put your own personal touch and elements. Use it for idea, creativity and creation. But I would.
It's helpful to get the ball rolling, right? Just kind of get some...
It's a tool.
Yeah, exactly.
Use it as a tool.
We used it, right? All of our topics that we've gone so far are from... We asked ChatGPT, give us 10 topics to talk about for a podcast. And all of the ones we've been using so far were from those suggestions, right?
Right.
But then we're not just scripting it out.
And all 10 of our viewers love it.
Yeah. I mean... Hey, shout out you guys. Honestly, we appreciate it. No, but it's just it's super important to understand how to use these tools, but not just solely rely on them.
Right.
Don't just use it and then be like, okay, it's done. Like, I think it's smart to use that as like your template, your outline, your inspiration, and then move on along with it. Because that's what I did. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, was the blog didn't flow. It just didn't seem like it seemed like a robot wrote it. Right. And so I was like, okay, let me beef this up here. Let's add some photos. Let's switch up this. This doesn't make sense. Take that whole paragraph out and just, using that.
Another way we've been using it on social. I've used it to generate captions. I think it's done a pretty good job of that.
It's helping me out with hashtags.
I think it's awesome, for going in and doing an Instagram post and captioning, because a lot of times, I don't know, you just get stuck or you get writer's block or something like that.
I find myself saying the same thing. And so I'm trying to figure out a way from getting away from, hey, come party with me, right? Or come vibe with me or whatever. Right. And I'm saying in these captions. So I'm trying to switch it up.
We're creatures of habit.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
No, I think it is a good way to, once again, it just use it to gather ideas to, just enhance your creativity. But don't rely on it. I think that's a good, solid piece of advice there for it.
Definitely.
So something for you wedding creatives out there. I mean, if you are in the industry and you use Canva, I just learned that Canva has incorporated their own AI function, and basically they've added this new capability of creating documents. So if you go into Docs and then go to
Magic Writing, I think
it's called I believe it's called the Magic Writer.
Yeah.
And if you go into generate content and you use this Magic Writer, it's in beta form right now, but you can use this Magic Writer and you go in and do just like ChatGPT, create a blog post on, top 5 mother-son dances, whatever. Yeah. And it'll create a blog post for you. Yep. So I know a lot of us use Canva. We use Canva, use it to create and generate.
Canva's amazing.
Content. Yeah, if you're not using Canva, you should definitely take a look at it. In any industry, really. There's
a free version that you can get in and start using it. But I paid for the year 2 years ago, and I just do it every year because I use it so much, like for literally everything. Personal
there's
things.
There's a template for everything.
Professional things. Yeah, there's a template literally for everything. So I made it so much easier.
Yep, same. All right, so I mean, that's just a few ways that we are seeing AI being used currently. I think it's going to get better. I think it's going to be more incorporated into a lot of things that we're seeing.
The scary thing is we won't know how to tell the difference, I feel like 10 years from now.
Right.
From like what is real, what isn't real.
Well, it learns, right? It learns like how you DJ. So like in 10 years from now, I'm not going to look like this and I'm not going to sound like this and I'm not going to DJ like this because I'm going to use an AI generator of myself
to create mixes. Just roll out the DJ booth and have you on the video screen.
It's going to look so different. Like in 10 years, like with all of this, I'm going to be a hologram. Yeah. An AI generated hologram.
DJing from your house.
My 20-year-old self.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that. I mean, just where technology is going, it's really incredible. So.
I'm interested to see where projection goes. I feel like there's a lot of new advancements in just overall projection and projection mapping. That's where I always see like the coolest.
So the visuals.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. A lot of different places are taking advantage of having a projector as opposed to a TV screen, and it's just so fun. Like,
well, and what I like too is that on that line, and even with music, it's making it easier to actually create without having to like go to music school for 8 years, right?
Yeah.
So I think you're going to be able to, at some point in time, be able to hum like a melody and play this rhythm with my two pencils, right? Like, and you can already kind of do that to some extent, but it's going to be literally as easy as humming a melody, come up with something that sounds like this, and then type chat GPT, create a song about my girlfriend and I that have been together
lyrics.
for, give me, and it's going to give you the lyrics.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be able to create music like within minutes, something that's professional, high quality.
Yeah. I saw a TikTok of a guy who was like, I'm going to make a Drake song. And he did the lyrics, did an AI generated beat, and then he did an AI generated voice by Drake. And it literally sounded like a Drake song.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what the heck? This is insane. Because they did the lyrics, all that in the style of Drake, a beat in the style of all these different AI websites. But yeah, it's
crazy.
It's crazy.
Yep. So I don't know. I've always been a fan of embrace the technology. Don't try to fight it.
Yeah.
And figure out how you can incorporate it. Because I feel like those that don't, if you don't embrace and adapt, you die.
You have to be able to evolve with the times. You know, I feel like a lot of things. Well, I mean, sometimes in New Mexico, there are people who like to stay more traditional routes, right? But I feel like it's an important, super important thing to stay relevant with these new things and keeping up to date with all of that. Because, you know, as for us especially, we have an age range for like clients. We'll have older and younger couples, but there's that sweet spot of 23 to 29, right? And that age doesn't change, but the generation of people who go through those change, right? And so whatever that may mean, 10 years ago or 5 years ago, millennials were massive in the space, right? You were marketing towards millennials, and it was all about having a cause and all these different things towards them. Now, Gen Z's creeping in. Now I've got my first Gen Z bride this year, actually, and she's like 22, 23.
Wow.
Yeah, young, super young. But I'm already seeing the difference between her and somebody who's my age.
Right.
And we were talking about it last week about...
Because you're old.
I know, right? But like the quick mixes and like the mashups and the TikTok era, the short attention span, all the stuff we were talking about last episode. I had a meeting with her and I was getting that kind of vibe on being able to DJ faster than, I don't know. But see, like AI can't do that.
Right. Well, it's getting there.
Yeah, it's true.
So... Okay, so I think we're going to wrap up the AI portion here and get into the grab bag, which is the final segment of the show. So this is the part of the podcast where we've gone and scoured the internets and found a few questions that are out there that we thought might be relevant and worth talking about. So let's get into it. The first question here that we found is, how often are DJs setting up a remote wireless speaker on the other end of venues at weddings? And this person says it's not a requirement, but in many situations it would improve the overall sound in the room and enjoyment for the guests. And I totally agree.
In every situation, if you just add an extra speaker on the other side, only going to help.
You know, I won't say in every situation. I think it's going to depend on the room. I think it's dependent on the space.
There's some rooms that you don't need it because it's so small.
Right.
Right.
So I think if, let's just say you have a rectangular room, right? And you are set up on the long, the
opposite end, pretty much.
Like if you're up against like the long end of.
Okay, your back's to the long.
Your back
end.
is right.
Okay.
Up against the longest portion of the room, which makes you more centered relative to the overall rectangle, right? In that instance, a lot of times, depending on how big the room is, right, you may not need sound reinforcement.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're on your back is up against the shorter side. And you're on one end of the room and people on the opposite end are just really far away from you. That's where having a satellite speaker, that's what I call them, or satellites, definitely help. And with wireless technology, we just incorporated some new wireless speakers, and it's a it just makes the overall sound of the room better. You don't have to push the speakers as loud. I don't have to worry about people on the opposite end of the room saying, we can't hear it. But then you turn it up and the people closest to you are, it's too loud. You have just this overall uneven dispersion of sound. Satellite speakers eliminate that. I think for any professional looking to do sound the right way, it's worth looking into, and having those satellite speakers around the room is needed.
It really helps too for toasts. I feel like,
for sure.
Yeah, there's people who won't be able to, that exact thing. They can't hear the toaster who's all the way on the other end of the room. But there's a lot of instances where that is a thing. I can think the Sandia Event Center. Sometimes I've been on the opposite end. Los Poblanos
is one.
Hyatt Tamaya, I've been on the other end, and it's always helpful to just have another speaker on the other end because it is so far away.
Right. Okay, so that's first question. Number 2. Oh, okay, so I've got to go and read. There was a post here in DJ Idea sharing, and it basically it shows a headline of a news article, and there's 8 faces. All right, men with Band-Aids on their face. One dude is bleeding. He's all beat up. The other one looks like he has stitches. All right.
We'll pull up the image on YouTube.
Yeah, we could put, if you want to see, go watch the YouTube.
Watch this episode on YouTube.
I'll pull the image up. But basically the headline reads, 8 relatives jailed after turning wedding into a bloodbath, mass brawl involving 40 guests.
You sent this to me and I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a meme or something.
So how many weddings have you had where a fight's broken out?
Never, but I've had one where Grandpa passed out, cracked his head.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and that was a whole nother thing where you have to be professional about it and kind of understand. It was interesting because I turned the music down and then they were like, get something going. So you just played like a line dance or something. But I've never had a full-blown brawl.
I've never had a full-blown brawl as well. Nothing that like where the dance floor all of a sudden chairs are flying, anything like that. And, thank goodness. I guess that's a testament to all the couples that we've been fortunate to book over the years.
I've had awkward family interactions. You can tell they maybe don't get along or whatever. But
there was one time, and this was a few years back. It was pre-COVID, where I personally had an instance where
he swung on someone.
No.
I'm just kidding.
This was with another vendor, a photographer. I'm not going to name any names, but it was the most uncomfortable situation and the most heated I have ever felt. Basically, to make a long story short, photographer wanted to be out by 9. He was only booked till 9 o'clock, and he was on this strict schedule. Things got pushed back at the venue. Nobody, none of the vendors, that it wasn't our fault, right?
It happens.
It happens. Dinner got pushed way far back. They were very far behind on the dinner service.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so it's nobody's fault. This guy had to get all of his pictures and out by 9 o'clock. So we had opened the dance floor for open dancing, and 5 minutes in, this dude is screaming at me.
Jeez.
I mean, literally, he's this close to he's in my face. Ugh. And anybody that knows, you don't get up in somebody's personal space. It was very disrespectful. I had already told him, give me a little bit of time. And I'm talking a little bit of time, just 15, 20 minutes, right? Because they wanted to get started in dancing. Yeah. And you don't
want to open it and then kill the momentum.
Right. To do this bouquet and garter toss and stuff. So I was trying to work with them as best I can, which we always try to do, right? And I'm always looking out for our photographers and videographers and trying to work together. This dude was super aggressive. Anyways, long story short, he got up in my face. He's screaming at me.
Oh, geez.
And I'm just doing everything I can I'm trying to work. And mix songs and mix music and keep my dance floor going and get the vibe right. And this dude is up in me. Oh my gosh. Ugh. It's the only time I was in my mind, I'm if this guy touches me, because he looked like he was going to swing on me.
Oh, geez.
And I'm just thinking, this is not happening right now. The most unprofessional I've ever seen somebody act in my entire years of doing this. But that was the only time where I think there might have been a headline in the newspapers with Cutmaster music.
Gets in the local brawl with
you know what? It ended up working out. No, there were no fists had flown, and
it's come
no
on,
photographers
man,
got
minutes.
injured.
I get that you've been there all day, but like, just we're almost there. You got to ride it out, and it's not like we're gonna play the open dance for another hour. You know, it's like
no, and we had already started open dancing. So we had kind of discussed this before, where we were just going to knock everything out beforehand. That's fine. But he came up to me. I need to get out of here, and I just on a total trip, man. Yeah. And I was like, bro, like, dude. Yeah. So, anyways,
I've had a couple who
I will never
like
refer him out ever. Yeah. Ever. I'm just telling you right now, ever. And I will give that name out to anybody that even, and like it was so bad with him. Like I would, anyways, you can tell I'm getting heated. Okay. It's bringing back bad mojo.
I luckily have never had that so bad. I've had friendly reminders that like, hey, we need to get this done, but I always try to, one of the first questions I ask is what time you here till? So I can kind of keep that in the back of my mind. But again, if we always say it's more of a guideline than a timeline. So naturally something's going to happen. They may have taken 15 minutes longer for their sunset photos because it's way the heck out there. Right. So
and this was just one of those things where things were out of our control, you know.
And then they blame you.
Right, And this is another vendor though, right? So there's just ways to act professional, to go about it, to ask for stuff or whatever. I'm more than willing to work with you. Now, when you come at me in a super aggressive tone and manner and it's your way or the highway, I'm probably not going to do my best to do anything that you want, in all honesty. Not being like an ass, but it's just like, we're all supposed to be on the same team here, right? Team bride and groom.
Exactly.
Like it's about them and them only. And I'm trying to execute my portion to make sure that their day goes the way that they would like for things to go. I honestly don't care that you are there only till 9 o'clock. Yeah. It's not my problem. It really isn't. At the end of the day, that's not my problem. But I'm willing to work with you, like especially if we've talked earlier and just like you said, we've discussed. You know what? You're only here till 9. We want to. If dancing starts at 8 o'clock and you're only there till 9, I'm going to make sure we get through everything. No problem. All your pictures needed within an hour. But open dancing that day, I don't remember what the times were, right? Let's just say it started at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Yeah. Because it was his time to leave.
Sure.
And dancing, we had just started with stuff, right? And we were, whatever, once again, no fault, but
there's better ways to approach it.
And at that point, when he got up at me like that, I was done. Yeah. I wasn't going to do anything that you wanted.
If you notice, it's 8:30. And you're like, okay, I'm only here for 30 more minutes. And you've been to enough weddings to understand the momentum of the night, right? Maybe talk to the DJ and be like, hey, I am only here for 30 more minutes. So if we could, but if they're going to approach you in an aggressive way, it's just not going to
work. Just super unprofessional.
I've had professionals or I've had photographers let me know like, hey, we're here for only 9, but I understand that you open up the dance. If you could get it done within the next 10 to 15, you got it. That's easy, right? Like just come at it in a way of being there for the couple, like you said. We're there for the couple. We're not there. That's like very selfish. I'm paid till 9, so I'm out.
You know what? And at the end of the day, for me, I'm like, just be nice.
Yeah.
Just be nice. Why is it so hard to just like be nice? Yeah. Like I get you've been there since 6 to 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. You know what? This is the job you signed up for. Yeah. Right? That gives you no right to come screaming at my face in front of everybody, in front of a crowd, sitting there watching. People are sitting there watching this dude, right? Like what is going on? And I'm just trying to hold it together, right? Trying to mix and keep my smile. And in my mind, I'm like, you piece of Yeah. Anyways, okay, let's move on to the next and last question of the grab bag here. This is a good one. Okay, it says, we worry so much about what gear we have and how we look. How do you deal with crappy request lists? Let's face it, not everybody's a DJ. Do you only play the list they give you? That was weird. This is just a weird question. It went from gear. Yeah. It has nothing to do with gear. I think the real question here is, how do you deal with crappy request lists? Let's face it, not everybody's a DJ. Do you only play the list they give you?
I use their list as a reference list, right? If I notice it's a song that may not hit as well as certain other songs, I'll prioritize certain ones over the other. But there have been instances where they'll come up, a bride or groom will come up and they'll be like, play this. And I know it's a dud. I know it's not going to do well, but it's their day. So at the end of the day, I really don't care about, I care about the experience. I want them to be having fun. But if the bride has this song that she just loves and she's got to hear it, I'm going to play it for her. Because a lot of the times her and her girlfriends are going to come out and feed the whole crowd, right? And so when you're feeding the bride and groom, they're magnets on their wedding day. So if you keep them happy, people are going to be dancing around them being happy. So I would say, yes, I stick to their list, but oftentimes in my meetings, we talk about having creative freedom. And that's where the cool thing is with us aligning with our right clients. We're not taking a couple who is, here's this list, play it front to back. That's all I want, right? If somebody told me that, I'd be like, well, I might not be the best DJ for you. There might be a couple others who can better fit that style, right? I like a couple who will give me some songs and then I can kind of play off of it with relatable music and different things. I always say, you could give me 10 songs and I'll figure it out. You could give me 100 songs and I'll figure it out. That gives me I like more because then you have a bank to dig through of like, say you're stuck and you're like, wow, what would they like? Oh, Lady Gaga just danced. That's right. Here we go. I got a good remix, right? It's nice to have something to reference. And when you have a list, you can feel confident that that song will do better than a random song that you do. So I like to default to their list a little bit more. But as a DJ who's been doing it 8 years, I feel confident that I understand if they wanted Salt Shaker by Lil Jon and Yin Yang Twins, they probably want Get Low. You know what I mean? So I can kind of figure out a way to find relatable music and keep them on the dance floor. And then it's all reading the crowd. You could come in all day thinking they're going to love hip hop. And then it's a bunch of cowboys with country, and so you got to be able to react to that. And so also too, like there'll be times where couples will have certain songs that they like and they love it, their music, but they're not even thinking about their guests. And it's like, okay, well, we talked about you wanting your guests to be having fun, but you're giving me a lot of songs that none of these people are going to know. So do you want to have more of a specific music selection that is more catered to you, which is fine? Or do you want to have something that can kind of more receptible to everyone and where everyone's having a party and all that? So you just kind of talk about, my thing always with couples is what's important to you. Is it important to have a massive party, or is it more important to have a more intimate moments with your guests and you want to talk with them and all those different things, right? All the time. I'm not to say all the time, but 9 times out of 10, we want a party. We want our guests to have fun and all that. So I'll give them my knowledge on what I've seen work, what I've seen haven't work, and all those different things.
So I feel like this question is totally ego driven. All right. Yeah. Typical DJ. All right. DJs and their egos, where how do you deal with a crappy request list? That right there in and of itself, just that's your ego. What makes you say,
what makes it crappy?
That's not crappy to them.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Okay, so, and I think this goes back to a really key point that you mentioned, and aligning with the right client. Mm-hmm. All right. So if we are able to do that, and I bring in a couple that gives me, for me, my ideal clients love everything. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I like pretty much everything, or I can go any direction. And that's what I like to do. I like to be able to turn right at any given moment, turn left at any moment. And it allows me to have the element of surprise throughout the night, which is what I want. I want the ooh, ah moments. All right. If you're playing, a few different songs and then you do a right hand turn and you throw in some just like, whatever, a deep track from Prince or something like that, right? And it's like a track that nobody expected, they forgot about, but it fit the vibe, and it was like, oh my God, right?
It's the best feeling in the world.
That's the best feeling in the world. Yeah. And and who's to say that because that song was maybe on their list, all right? Like you said, maybe we've got a bride that gave me a list of 200 songs, and there's some what I would consider just not mainstream stuff on there that most people might not know. Mm-hmm. But it's a song that she's going to get out onto the dance floor and just go crazy over, right? Yeah. I'm absolutely playing it, but it's a matter of where do you play it?
Yes.
Do you start the night off with a song that nobody knows?
Yeah. No,
probably not. Yes. Like that's not, like you're not going to have much success, and then it sets a tone, right? Like like, what is this? You don't want people starting the night off saying, what is this?
Yes.
Like, what are we doing here, right?
Something that gets, let's go. I got to dance.
Right.
Yeah.
But then when you mix that in at a key point in the night, and it's already fitting the vibe and the flow, it's in the same key, same BPM, whatever. Dance floor's packed. You might get some looks of like, I don't know this song, but Bride is out there, starts screaming, I love this song, right? And then all her girls start screaming with her and enjoying it, and it's just an impactful moment.
Those moments, that's what's key.
And that's what you're looking for. And who am I to say that that's a crappy request?
Yeah. I always say, like, if there's certain songs you have to have played, but it may not is the most appropriate time during open dance, let's figure out a way to, like, maybe play it during dinner, during cocktail hour. Right. So you can still hear these tunes, but we don't have to, maybe it's not the most danceable song or whatever, right? But, like, it's, I'll get clients who will be like, our music taste is unique. We don't really listen to a lot of danceable stuff. And I'll always tell them, that's okay. There are certain moments for every single type of song. So we can figure out a way to remix certain songs, to play the original at certain moments. And you really want them to have the comfortability, or like they feel confident. Comfort, thank you. The comfort that they can really do whatever they want, but like they have a trust that you will give them a good party,
right?
Yep.
And then I think the second part of this question asks, do you only play the list they give you? I learned a long time ago, I am not doing that. I am not a push play DJ. And so very, very early on, I'll never forget this event where this couple came up to me, they booked us, and they said, you know what, we were at a recent event, a recent wedding, and the DJ was horrible, and we created a playlist of songs that we're going to give you the laptop, and we just want you to play these songs. And I was like, my young self was like, oh my God, easiest gig in the world. Awesome. I don't have to do anything. I'm just going to show up and collect a check and press play. And I did that. And of course, what happened?
It was dud.
Guest requests, right?
Oh, guests come in.
So guests come up with requests. Because they're not filling what's on this playlist,
telling you
right?
what you should play instead of what's
and hey, can you play this? And my answer is no. I'm not actually DJing, right? Like no, this is just the couple's laptop here, right? Once again, this is I will never, ever. You will never see me.
Chris, year one.
This is like very early on. This like not knowing, right?
You learn.
And more guest requests. The list is just not. It's not the vibe. It's songs from front to back, 5 minutes long. And I'm just sitting there like, hey, sorry, hands are tied. Like, this isn't my thing. And that event was done by like 8:30. People weren't feeling it. It was terrible. And guess who it looked bad on?
You.
Me. Because I'm the DJ, right? I'm playing the music.
You're the one who's selecting the songs.
Never, ever again. People coming up because then the it starts off with requests. Then you're not playing the requests. And then people aren't liking the vibe. They're not liking the mood. They're not liking the music. It's not in a organized way, right? And it starts looking bad on you. Then people start getting like angry as the night goes on. Then they're drinking, right? And forget it. And people are leaving the event just pissed off. Like they're mad. That event wasn't fun. That DJ was terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
And from that point on, I said, never, ever, ever again will I just take an event that says, here's our playlist. Will you will only play this.
Back,
So, and we get those requests sometimes. We get inquiries. We get them where they'll say,
we've got a playlist.
We've got
it taken care of.
And just as you said earlier, that is not the right client for us. I turn those events away. And now I'll sit and have a conversation with them and ask them, what's the goal of this? And you might try to do some education in the consult and see if you can get to a common place, right? And get them to trust you. And that's, what we're there for. But if not, then we're just not the right clients for that. I'm not a playlist player. I'm not a Spotify. If that's all you need, you just need gear rental. We don't rent gear. Go down the street to
Lesmans,
right? And that's or plug in your iPod into their speaker system. But that's not what we do. That's not what we're known for. And that's not the client that I'm looking for. I'm not going to have any fun at that event. You're not going to enjoy it. And chances are your event's not going to be very successful just based on past experience of playing a playlist straight through.
Let me ask you this. How do you take a request that's like a dud?
Okay, so like, for example, like we're playing.
They played this. This was my wife's song. at our wedding, would you play it? And it's, no, this is going to kill everything.
Yeah. So once again, setting expectations is key, right? Mm-hmm. So in the planning beforehand, we go through this and we talk about this and how we treat guest requests, which I'm fine with taking. Yeah. But you're right. Let's just say it comes up and you're like, there's no way this is going to be a killer. So I always say I will never kill your event for a guest request.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, your request as the bride and groom, anything goes.
Yeah.
Like if I know you're going to be on the dance floor, your friends and family are going to be on the dance floor too. Yeah. Plain and simple. Mm-hmm. Okay. But just because somebody comes up and asks for Metallica in the middle of your wedding, no.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm cordial about it. I am not an ass. I'll never be, and I will never put the blame on bride and groom. You don't do that.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think a professional should ever do that. Mm-hmm. Honestly, they'll come up, especially if they've been drinking.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me see if I can get that in, at some point. Yeah. They forget. They walk away and forget 5 minutes later because they're out there partying with everybody and fist pumping away, right? And they'll forget. And they might come up and ask, hey, do you think you can get that in? And then I might just say, oh, man, sorry, I don't have that in the library. I just try to play it off, right? Yeah. Play it off. Don't put the blame on anybody. Mm-hmm. I won't say it's on their do not playlist or anything like that. But I know. There's a reason we're the DJ and the experience that we have. We know that is not going to work. Now, sometimes what happens? They're so adamant, right, about the stupid chicken dance. Whatever. Let's use that.
Yeah.
All right. This person really needs to get the chicken out of them.
Of the Macarena.
The Macarena. They
alone.
They won't leave you alone. You know it's not what they want.
Yeah.
They said they didn't want any cheese at this event.
Yeah.
I'm not playing it, but you're trying to be nice about it.
Yeah.
And then what do? They go and ask the bride on the dance floor. Mm-hmm. And then what happens? She comes up and rolls her eyes at you or just says, it's fine.
Yeah.
At that point, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I'll play it, but I mean,
there's certain ones that I'm like, you got to get it approved from the couple. Just have them give me a thumbs up or something because this is not. You know what I mean?
They're wanting the vibe.
They're wanting fruit salad by the Wiggles or something so outlandish, and you're like, no, like what? But my kid will love it.
Yeah. No. So, and this is a topic for another episode.
Yeah.
Where guests just get so self-centered, right? They're so self-centered, and my one song. This was our song.
Yeah.
Well, it's not your day. It's not your day. It's not your kid's day. Mm-hmm. Like, this is not a kid's party.
Yeah.
We're trying to play to the masses here and keep the vibe of the night as a whole. Keep it up.
Sometimes I'll be like, that might fit in a later part of the evening, but if you give me another request, you might be able to get that one in sooner.
I just hate how some people are so selfish. You know, like this day is not about you. Mm-hmm. It's about them. And the vibe and the experience they want everyone to have, right? And they don't understand that sometimes.
When you're not getting requests, you're doing your job right. When they're just dancing, having fun, and nobody's coming in to tell you anything, you're doing a good job. That's like the best part.
Yeah. So, okay. That's it for the grab bag questions this week. Good stuff, good topics. If you have any questions that you want us to tackle and throw in the grab bag, hit us up. You can hit me up, toss me either a DM or you can email me, Chris at Cutmaster Music, and we will bring them on the show.
Yeah.
Okay. I think anything else you've got for this week?
No, I think that's it. We'll probably have an episode next week. Super Bowl party this weekend.
Oh, Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you something I look forward to with the Super Bowl.
What?
The halftime, okay?
Rihanna.
So it's going to be Rihanna, we know that. But I look forward most, and here's a DJ hack, to DJ Scooter's Super Bowl edits.
Oh.
All right? Every year, he does his Super Bowl edits of the artists. Like, so last year, wasn't it Dr. Dre and 50 Cent and all them? Mm-hmm. And he does these amazing Super Bowl edits, like how they play them in the Super Bowl.
Cool.
They're killer.
Nice.
And they're great to use at events. So that's what I look forward most to with the halftime show. It's like, okay, what songs are they going to play?
Yeah. Does he release that after the halftime
He releases it like maybe a day or two after on direct music service. Nice. DJ Scooter. Love his Super Bowl edits. I can't wait for him.
Nice. So that's cool.
Yeah, maybe we'll play some snippets or you'll hear him at an event.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we're going to put a bow on this one for this week. I think that's going to do it. Appreciate you all listening, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you guys next week, y'all.
Thanks for checking out the Cutmaster Cast podcast. Make sure you stay tuned with all things related at www.cutmastermusic.com.